talk about music real quick, man. I saw this post it's right here next to me, and I was kind of like intrigued by the conversation that spawned from it. I don't um really know what I'm about to say, but we just gonna dive in. I do have a few thoughts though, and this shit was kind of like pissing me off a little bit, but then a part of me kind of like understood a little bit too. It's kind of weird. So for those of you who don't practice music, the landscape of music in terms of the creators, producers, engineers, even writers, I guess you can throw in there, or musicians, people that play instruments, it's kind of fucked up. The landscape is fucked up, and it's been fucked up for quite a long time. And the internet is mostly responsible, is 100% responsible for that. Um, the more that the internet brought the walls down, the more that it devalued creators. I mean, the creative space in all aspects from all different mediums, it's always been kind of iffy in terms of like what you think a creative should be paid or what they're worth, because it's all subjective, because the nature of art is subjective. But this internet has done nothing to help that argument. And the creator is always getting fucked over, bro, the short end of the stick. So just to read what they're saying here: artists refusing to pay for beats but driving a supercar on their IG story. It happens all the time. And then Azealia Banks responded to that and said, the illustrious batshit crazy Azealia Banks. For those of you who don't know, just go and Google her and you will find no shortage of shit to prove that she's out of her goddamn mind. She responds and says, "Why should we pay for beats if producers expect royalties, pub, and master share? Y'all want us to pay the license for a certain number of years, after which you'll do whatever you want with it. No, it's not like producers have to spend money on marketing, touring, mixing or mastering, promo, or PR. Producers don't have to perform, and many of you are very limited in skill. If you want to be paid for a beat, you should sell it entirely and expect no pub, no royalty, and no master share. Artists put a lot of effort into making beats come to life, and many of you should be grateful when one comes along and turns your beat into a song." Now, reading that right now, um, I have like a mixed bag of emotions for a lot of different reasons. She said a lot of shit that I agree with, and it's like I agree and disagree at the same time. And I'm on both sides because I rap, I make beats, and I'm an engineer, right? I'm currently receiving what do you call it? Sort of like streaming profit sharing from plenty of songs that I've mixed or produced for from a lot of my artists to this day. Every week I get paid, every month or whatever. It's not much. I'm not saying I get much, but I do have a percentage of like a nice little catalog of songs, right? But if we start talking about music law or the way that it's structured, at least in the mainstream, well, it's not, I can't even say that anymore. It's all music. The way that it's structured is usually there's two halves of pub, I think, where the writers get half of the song and the producer gets the other half of the song, because a song is made up of two main parts: vocal performance, music performance. So they structured it. I don't know the history of this, but they structured it in a way that the producer gets half of the song and the rapper gets half of the song, so that they don't have to argue about shit. You know, if a song is lyrics and beat, just shut the fuck up and split it down the middle. Now, your half, you could divvy that up into whatever way you want. And you can give people pieces of your half if you want. But the producer is usually protected in that if he provided the production, the beat, the music, he's going to get a guaranteed half, or, one side of the publishing. Uh, and they're listed as songwriters, right? Because realistically, what is a song without the beat if we're not talking about an a cappella performance? Because let's be real. While a cappella performances are a thing, they are not what we're talking about. You know, one of the things I want to point out here is this comment from Apollo Brown. For those of you who don't know who Apollo Brown is, he is a producer from Detroit, where I'm currently sitting. And I know plenty of people who have worked with him personally, right? So he's pretty big though. He's pretty known. His response is he laughs and he says the constant disrespect has to stop. And I understand what he's coming from. We can sell instrumental albums all day long, but can you sell an a cappella album? And the answer is fucking no. Nobody's looking for an a cappella album. Now, a cappellas have been sold, DJs need them. And also, if you're old enough to remember single releases, you would get a single where it would be the song, instrumental, and an a cappella, 3 tracks, or it might be some alternative version of the song too. But most of the time, a single release is usually 3 tracks on a CD, a tape, or something like that, right? So acapellas have made money, but let's be fucking honest. There's not a soul that is looking to purchase an entire acapella album of 50 Cent rapping for 13 songs, my nigga. Nobody's looking for that. So, with that being said, it sounds like the producer is pretty important because without your song, without your voice, the beat can still make money because guess what? You can dance to a beat. A beat fills the air quite nicely. Wouldn't you agree? I've never walked into the club and just heard Meek Mill, hold on, wait a minute. Y'all thought with no beat? I never heard that. I never walked into a club and heard that shit in my life. But I have heard the Meek Mill instrumental ring out without his voice on it. I've heard that. I don't know if it was in a club. It might have been on TV or something. But what I'm saying is, even in the NBA, right? Let's just take a very recent smash hit with the Not Like Us shit, right? I was watching the NBA and they're just playing the instrumental. And the instrumental is enough to be like, it embodies the spirit of the song because it is the meat of the song, the production, right? But I've never been watching NBA and they're just playing Kendrick's a cappella. That's not to devalue his vocals and the importance of the artist. It's just to say that one can live without the other, which almost makes it so that the music is almost more valuable or at least more applicable. It's more pliable than just the fucking vocals. But, excuse me. I can almost make a counter argument to my own argument. Because as an artist, I also understand the work that the artist puts into making a beat into a song. Songwriting is very powerful because a lot of times you will have a simple beat. It might be very minimalistic in its nature, in its structure, in its composition, but the artist will see the beauty in that minimalism and they will fill those pockets with beautiful writing and harmonies or background vocals or ad libs or whatever it is that concepts that the producer could have never dreamed of. And that's why the marriage of the songwriter and the producer is a beautiful one that none of us can really live without at this point. So while on one hand, yes, the producer is very valuable and the beats can live in a space without vocals, artists, especially artists like Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole, Freddie Gibbs, blah, 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 all of the big names that we all know of, they're all capable of taking these beats that are otherwise unassuming and turn them into smash hits because they know what to do with them. That's why songwriters are powerful. So yes, artists do expect, producers do expect half of the pub and, a share of everything that's going on with the song because they are a major contribution to it. You can't argue that fact. It's yes, they don't have to partake in the marketing, not all the time. Sometimes the producers do, because if you look at The Alchemist, he's doing a whole merch rollout for his artists, and all he is the producer. He's much more involved than the typical producer. But most producers are hands off. I get it. They make a beat. A lot of times they're not even in the artist's presence when they do it. They just make a beat and it's sitting on their MPC or their computer for years, sometimes decades. The artist comes across it and they pay an exorbitant fee for it, and they have to give up pub mastering. They have to give up a lot of the back end of the song, even if the producer is not really involved in anything beyond the creation of the beat. But guess what, though? That's what you signed up for. My biggest thing with Aealia's point is that you are approaching an artist asking for something that they have, right? They didn't say shit to you. In most cases, the artist is approaching the producer in most cases. So you're coming to me asking me for some shit that I didn't come to you. You came to me and said, I love that beat. Let me get that. And then I say, okay, well, this is what I require in order for you to get it. How are you then going to turn around and complain about having to pay for marketing, touring, mixing and mastering and promo? That shit is not my problem. That's not my problem. I don't have anything to do with that. You asked me for my beat. That's what you asked me for. I didn't ask you to come and ask me for this beat. Now, in some cases, producers do approach artists. But if you don't want the beat, or if you don't want to have to be responsible for all of these things on the back end, then you should just not get the beat. Find someone who will be okay with not taking the back end and the pub side, or find someone who will help you with the other fees that are associated with getting this song out there, like the marketing, the promotion, the PR, the mixing and mastering of it, because there's plenty of producers that will. My guy Info 56 from DSK, he's a Southwest Detroit resident. He makes beats, right? And he'll get a bunch of artists on it and say, hey, yo, can you rap on this shit? Or he made a whole album with Bodie James, and then he paid me to mix it. That is the producer carrying all of the weight on his own. He made the beat, he recorded the project, he paid to get it mixed and mastered, he got the cover made, and he did the promotion all on his own. It's music, man. The music is the product, and whatever vehicle it gets in it's not someone else's fault. We all partake in the creation of the song, whoever's involved in the creation of the song. That doesn't mean that you're wrong because you didn't have to pay for the mixing and mastering. If you didn't negotiate that, then it isn't my fault. And my main concern is this. I just can't wrap my mind around the concept of an artist approaching a producer, asking for their beat, and then being mad at the producer because the producer wants a fee. You asked him. It would be like you walking into McDonald's and saying, I would really fucking love a double cheeseburger right now. How much is it? And they're like, it's $4.99 or whatever. And then you're like, what the fuck it's not free? Like, why you want me to pay $4.99 for this burger? And I gotta eat this burger and deal with it. You're not gonna help me eat the burger. Why do I gotta pay $4.99? And they're like, what the fuck? Do you want a double cheeseburger or not, nigga? Do you want it? If not, then get the fuck out of this McDonald's, bro. You can't approach a nigga for some shit that they have for sale and then be mad about the price. The price is very plainly set. And this is the same thing that I deal with as an engineer. Niggas come to me like, can you record me? I really fuck with your sound. I think you do good work. You did great work for my homeboy or some stupid shit like that. And then the nigga's mad at me because I charge $50 an hour. Nigga, my price was the same thing yesterday. I didn't change it now. I didn't make it 50 for you. And then niggas is like, oh, damn, you can't give me a deal? What the fuck? Why would I give you a deal? Why would I devalue my product for you? Do you not understand the implications of that going forward? Because now a nigga be like, well, I heard you charge them only 30 an hour. Why is you charging me 50? Now I got to explain this to every other goofy nigga that comes here after you. The price is the price. Anybody who has ever sold a product, anybody that's ever sold a service knows that set your price, stand tall on that motherfucker, make your money the way that you think you are worthy of making it. And you can't let nobody talk you off your square, because if you do, then it all rolls downhill and then you are devalued from that point forward. A nigga told me, do not explain the price. Stop explaining the price. You tell niggas the price and they're either going to pay it or they're not going to pay it. Any deliberation that needs to be had about the price should only be done inside of your mind. It should be done privately. If you say, okay, well, I raised the price to this thing and it seems like I'm kind of getting a little less traction on it now, maybe I should roll it back. But don't tell niggas that. You just do it in privacy. It's the same thing that all of these stores do, from Staples to Walmart to Target to McDonald's to Taco Bell to the tire shop to the motherfuckers that do your windshield. They say, oh, well, we charge the motherfuckers $250 to put these windshields in these chargers in these cars, but we're not really getting no customers. Maybe we need to run a sale, or maybe we need to just discreetly and quietly lower that motherfucking price. McDonald's do it all the time. You don't think that they do? You think they doing them sales, those sales or those deals because they love you? No, they're doing that shit because that month they probably didn't hit the goal that they wanted to hit. I said, well, damn, we charging $8-9 for a motherfucking quarter pounder. Niggas ain't fucking with it. Maybe we need to do a deal where we do 2 quarter pounders for $12 and, kind of get more people back in the door, which drums up more business and gives you more visibility. It's not anything foreign. You know what I'm saying? But don't go to a motherfucker that's selling something and then argue him down and tell this nigga that he's a piece of shit for selling his product for the price that he wants to sell it for. That just means you need to not patronize that person and go somewhere else with your money. Stupid ass nigga. So I don't know if there's a third. So yeah, TM88, which is another producer. I don't really know their work, but I do know their name. Because like I said, I make beats. I'm in the music world, so these are names that I'm familiar with. I just don't know this gentleman's body of work. But he says this is how they all think. Y'all don't even stream well, and you want the beats for free, and that's another thing, And this is very hypocritical of me, because I'm a nigga that I got whole, I don't know if I should be saying this, but I have whole albums where I'm rapping on beats that I didn't pay for. Some I did and some I didn't, because sometimes I just ain't got it, but I still want to express myself. So I just say, fuck it. If I get caught, I get caught. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not, I don't make no money off the shit anyway, but that's where you have to be realistic. You telling the producer that they have to just eat shit and give you some shit for free, like you're special, but you niggas is making 45 cents off of these songs. Now, if you're Jay-Z and you come to me and he's like, look, bro, I don't want to pay for this beat up front because I just don't want to. My name is Jay-Z. And he's like, it's The Rock. Yeah. And he's like, I don't want to pay for this beat. I'm sorry. And then he's like, but I'll pay you on the back end. Now, that's a nigga, Jay-Z is going to put an album out and the motherfucker's going to go platinum off top. If Jay-Z dropped the album today and I'm on it, like as a producer, I'm going platinum this week. There's no mystery about that. We know what he's going to do. And that as even if I don't make any money on the back end, just the fact that my name will be on something associated that it would be associated with something that will be seen and experienced or heard by millions of people all around the world is enough. That's enough. But if Jay-Z is like, look, you trying to charge me a little $2,000 for this fucking beat, just shut the fuck up. I'm not paying you $2,000, but I will give you your half of the publishing. This song is probably going to make $600,000 this year. Go ahead and take that, and you're going to get royalties for the rest of your life. Just shut the fuck up about the $2,000. I'll be like, all right, you got it. you got to be for free. But if you only get 600 motherfuckers to listen to the song, that's not enough. That's not enough. It's not enough exposure and it's not enough royalties. I can show you my motherfucking statements. I should pull it up. Let's do it. Fuck it. Let's do it. So I'm gonna go to my DistroKid. Let me see if it's automatically logged in. Um, it might not be. Nope, it's not logged in, but we're gonna share this tab. So I just want y'all to see how this shit work. I'm not, and I'm also not trying to put any of these artists on blast. I don't want anybody to think that that's the aim for this. But these are artists that I personally know and personally work with, right? Um, oh wait, you know what? Let me hide it while I type in my credentials right quick. Uh, and then the password is, I actually don't know. I hope that's right. That's not right? Dang. Oh, all right, I got it. All right, bet. So let's go back to this view. This is my DistroKid. This is pretty much where I run all my music through, even though I think I'm about to go to another distributor because I'm kind of like unhappy with them sometimes. But this is my landing page. This is where I'm at. If I go to splits, right, I can show you all of the releases. Oh wait, no. How do you do that? Say stats. Or you can say my music. Not my music. Where is it at? Let's go to bank. I don't know. So here it is. If you go to my bank and you look at these are all the people that are paying me. Camila is an artist, she's a singer, and it's like these are the earnings that I've gotten from these songs by these artists. I've made less than $1 for a few of these. I made $2 off of Amber, which is a project that I made the beats for. I think it was a project that it was an EP that I produced for her, and she gave me 50%, which is pretty high because typically I'm only getting about 10, 15, 25%, sometimes 30%. It just depends because the artist can decide, right? Amber gave me 50% because I'm the producer. I didn't charge her for the beats. I think the only thing I charged her for was the mixing, but I gave her the beats for free, I believe. And we did like 4 or 5 songs on that project. And she gave me 50%, and I made $2 off of it. I'm not complaining, but I'm saying it's not like life-changing money. I very much appreciate it, but and then I have Jamar, his project streamed much better than a lot of people's shit, but I made like $5 off of that shit. Cool. You know what I'm saying? I make money. And then my own music, I made like $250 off my own shit because I own like nearly 100% of that. I've given some people cuts of my songs as well, whether they wrote a hook or made the beat or some shit like that, right? But I'm gonna make more off of my own music than any other artist's music. But this is what I'm saying. So if these artists came to me and they're like, "Nigga, why is you charging me for beats or why is you charging me for mixing when you gonna get paid on the back end?" And it's like, this is what I'm gonna get paid on the back end, gang. Like I'm gonna get $2.05, bro, and that's supposed to be like enough for me to put dozens of hours of labor into this project for nothing. Now, if this motherfucker was streaming millions or hundreds of thousands, and I'm making like, $1,000 off this record, or I'm making $1,500 off this record over time, I would be like, okay, let's do it for free. Let's just bust it down on the back end, and I'll get my money that way. But what is y'all niggas talking about? How do y'all have the audacity to be talking to producers this way when the producer is the backbone of all of y'all shit, bro? The producer, you don't get too far from the conception of your fucking metaphor and your little song without finding a motherfucker to rap over, a motherfucking producer to make a beat for you to rap over, gang. I'm not saying the rapper ain't important too, but I'm saying stop talking down to niggas like y'all don't need niggas, bro. I'm an engineer. Niggas need me. I listen, there's an argument to be had that I'm more important than all you niggas because if you write a dope ass song with a dope ass fire ass hook, and the producer makes the motherfucking beat and it's slap, but y'all record it and it sounds like trash, who gives a fuck? Who cares? It's too quiet. It's muddy. The drum, the snare and the kick don't pop. Your vocals is buried under all this fucking noise. Who gives a fuck? Nigga, I'm the most important person in this equation, and I probably make, I'm not gonna say I make the least because I get paid pretty well for what I do. But I'm certainly almost on the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to who gets the most respect. It's starting to change. The culture of that is starting to change because niggas are starting to realize that without a relationship with your engineer, you're gonna lose every time. Because if your mixes ain't right, if your recordings ain't right, if your producer is not organizing your music and keeping track of all your music files the way that he should be, you're gonna lose every time. You can't even keep up with your music to begin with. The engineer is the nigga that's gonna bring all of this shit together. I am the midway point between the writer and the beat maker slash producer. One last thing I wanted to say too. I want to draw this distinction between a producer and a beat maker. Some people call me as the engineer the producer. Technically, I can be labeled as a producer because I do direct and manipulate the outcome of the song, right? I coach the artist vocally. I tell them what they should say in certain parts and all that sort of shit. That makes me a producer. I manipulate the beat. I structure the song. I am a producer in that way. But the traditional word producer refers to the person that is responsible for composing the music. That's not me. They are playing the piano, playing the drums, playing their MPC, and they're making the music. A producer's job is to make the music with the artist in mind or with the artist in the room so that you can build the music around the artist and the song that they have written. Like a JD, like a Teddy Riley, like a Quincy Jones, like a Michael Jackson, like a Timbaland. You know, the list can go on forever. You niggas is not producers anymore, gang. Y'all niggas is sitting in your fucking room in your drawers making beats. That's not to say that your contribution is not valuable, but that is to say you are not directly involved in the construction of the song at all. You are not a producer. Stop calling yourself a producer. I am producing the artist. When you make the beat remotely, send it to the artist, and then me and the artist are in the studio for hours at a time constructing this song together. I'm the producer. You are the beat maker. You are hands off. You don't give a fuck about the product. I am the nigga in the thing applying the effects to his vocals, getting his performance correct. And I say, no, do that again. You fucked up. Do that again. I ain't like the energy you had. Do that again. You could do better than that. You sound like you reading. You fucked up on this part. Your flow is out of pocket. Do a lower voice under this. I need you to layer this a certain way. And then by the time that I'm done giving my direction, the song becomes what it is. So while you two stupid niggas is arguing, I'm the nigga that you both need to be bowing down to, and I'm not sorry about it. Because the producer has become just a nigga that make beats in the crib. He's dope. But niggas is not hands-on. Y'all don't know how to direct an artist because you are afraid of the artist and you stay away from the artist. I'm the nigga that has to be in the room listening to this stupid ass nigga make mistakes or wondering why he keep choking and coughing on the mic while he's blowing blunts. I'm the nigga that has to get this nigga a bottle of water. I'm the nigga that has to tell him, hey gang, you sound stupid as fuck. Hey gang, you fucked up. Hey gang, what the fuck do this mean? This metaphor don't even make sense. That's me doing that. That's me, gang. That's me. So we all need to have more respect for each other, dog. We all are a part of the process. But if you are not hands-on, if you ain't in that studio, if you ain't on that phone giving direction, if you ain't getting emailed the song and you giving your feedback back to the artist, then you're not a part of the song. You know, the marriage between a producer, an actual real producer, and an artist is a beautiful one. Alchemist is making beats with niggas sitting right there. He's making beats with the artist in mind. What kind of vibe do I want to set for this artist? I want to make it dark and grungy because I know his vocals will sound good paired up with that sort of mood. I wanna make it spacey because I know this nigga's voice is booming and loud. So I want to compensate for that. That's what a producer is. You mold shit. A beat maker is just making beats. It's miscellaneous. It's general purpose. You know what I mean? So stop fooling yourself, man. All you niggas is hands off. The only nigga that gotta live with the song from conception to promotion is the artist. And what we need to start understanding is that really, until you start selling beat tapes, because you can sell instrumental albums, but most of you niggas ain't doing that. Until you start doing that, we need to start understanding that we are the support system for the artists. We're not meant to be as big as the artists. We are not meant to be bigger than the artists. We are the motherfuckers that are pushing him up because he is the face of the operation, whether you like it or not. Eliminate your ego from the conversation. It is our job to make sure that this nigga sounds good and to make sure that this final product is good enough for it to be a fucking hit. That is our job. Remove your ego and help the fucking artists, even though they couldn't do that shit without us. That's all I want to say. Tap that like, leave a comment if you disagree, especially if your ass is a rapper or something, or a singer or whatever. Let me know what you think. But I'm done. Holla at me, dog.